several times in each chapter, we see how helpless Krishna is. We find weakness lording over strength exactly because it is weak. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is an epic struggle, and Krishna is the struggler. It all tugs at your heartstrings. It's actually a song, as much of melancholy as of wisdom. And that's the reason I love the Gita.
Sir, an Indian origin developer from Google recently released a version of ChatGPT called GitaGPT. So in this, the AI basically acts like a god, and you could ask it questions based on spirituality or philosophy, and it would answer like it's coming from Sri Krishna himself. So my question for you is, do you think this is the end for spiritual gurus in India?
When you ask a question to ChatGPT or GitaGPT, can it choose not to answer? The guru, if real, can choose not to answer. And sometimes silence is the best answer. Nobody can teach AI or a program to do that. Get this? Also, please understand, ChatGPT will provide the same answer irrespective of who the questioner is. You type a question, it doesn't matter who you are, the answer will be the same. Huh? If the teacher or the friend, whosoever it is actually wise, he never answers the question. He answers the questioner. And that's the great difference. Huh? An arrogant, spoilt lad gets up and asks me, "Sir, is not freedom important?" I'll have an answer. A meek-looking girl, underfed, coming from a small town, gets up and asks the same question. "Sir, is not freedom important?" I'll have a totally different answer to give to her. No computer can do that. Answers simply continue the question. Answers are based on the assumption that the question is valid. Stay with me, it might get a little dense here on. The thing is that the question is a reflection of the questioner, right? The question is simply an extension of who the questioner is, correct? Huh? If I'm a violent person, and I ask you, where do I get knives? You know where the question is coming from. That question is coming from my violence. My violent self is what is giving rise to this question. So the question is simply a continuation of the questioner. When you answer a question, you are reaffirming that the question is valid. Otherwise, why would you answer it, right? And by taking the question as valid, you have certified that the questioner is valid. The matter is that the questioner is the ego. By just answering the question, you have certified the ego, you have reinforced the ego. And that's no good. That's not beneficial at all. If the teacher is real, his job is to not answer the questions. His job is to dissolve the question. If the teacher is real, then you will forget the question in front of him. In front of ChatGPT, you will never forget your questions. The job of the teacher is to dissolve your questions, is to make you realize that your questions are stupid. Drop these questions, they do not matter. These questions are just shadows of my ego. These questions are actually irrelevant. I don't need to ask them. The teacher helps you go beyond your questions. The teacher does not really answer your questions. With a teacher, you do not play the question answer game. For that, there could be a compilation of FAQs, and that should suffice. That does not suffice. Remember, the real deal is not in getting an answer. The real deal is in seeing that all questions are actually unnecessary, invalid. You are bigger than your questions. You do not need that question. You can go beyond your questions. Your questions deserve to be forgotten. But that's too much. For now, please remember your questions and keep asking.
Namaste, Acharya ji. My question is, does spirituality need a guru?
Need a guru?
Yes.
No, see, what you call as spirituality in English is not the real thing. Spirituality, as most people know it, Bhoot Pret, this, that, magical beings, disembodied beings, fancy stuff in the air. That's what people take as spirituality. The real thing is self-knowledge. Self-knowledge. Atmagyan. Right? If you are really interested in wisdom, it's not spirituality, but self-knowledge that you should be seeking. Now, what is self-knowledge? Self-knowledge simply means moving from ignorance of the self meaning myself. Self-knowledge simply means moving from ignorance about the self to realization of the self, knowing who I am, where do my thoughts, instincts, etc. come from. That's what self-knowledge is. So self-knowledge is a movement. Self-knowledge is a movement. It's a movement from ignorance to realization. Now, in this movement, you have to remember why, first of all, the movement is required. The movement is required because we are born ignorant. We are born thinking that we are beings in this world, and that is ignorance. How does one move to realization? By making good use of stuff in the world itself. Now, most of the stuff in the world is not usually of a kind that you can utilize to move towards realization. But it depends on you, but there can be stuff that you can use to know yourself. Right? That is what is called as the teacher. So, the Upanishads would say tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. And that is also captured in the little word guru. Tamas, darkness, is represented by gu, it stands for ignorance, and jyoti, brightness, realization, and it denotes understanding. So, does one need a guru? No. Your very movement from ignorance towards realization is the guru. The very urge to not remain ignorant is the teacher. And when that urge is there, then you will keep finding suitable teachers at all places, everywhere, at all times. That's the reason why it is famously quipped that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. The teacher is not an entity outside of you. The teacher is your own urge to not remain a fool. And there are a lot of people who are very content remaining fools. They will not get a teacher even if an established kind of teacher stands in front of them. They will still not get him. When Krishna was lecturing the Bhagavad Gita to Arjun, was Duryodhan rushing to Krishna? Kindly teach me as well. Two entire armies were assembled there. Were they rushing to Krishna to be taught? Yudhishthir is called as Dharmaraj. Was even he coming to Krishna? Please tell me something. No. So if you do not have the urge to learn, then no teacher can help you even if the teacher stands right in front of you in the form of Krishna. The teacher again is not something objective. The teacher is not really somebody outside of you. The teacher is just an external manifestation of your own deep desire to break your bondages. If you have that desire, the teacher will come in whatever form, probably in several forms. Sometimes in the form of a book, sometimes in the form of an incident, sometimes in the form of a person, sometimes in the form of a place. And the teacher will keep coming in several myriad forms. Do you get this, please? See, spirituality is not, when I say spirituality, again, what do I mean? Self-knowledge. It's not so much like history or science or mathematics, where somebody can stand and provide you with knowledge. The ones we have encountered in school and college are knowledge providers. Knowledge providers, right? They can stand in front of you and deliver a lecture, and you can record what they are giving you, and that would suffice. The real teacher, the guru that you are talking of, is a totally different thing. He is not outside of you, he is within you. He is within you in the form of your love for freedom. If you want to break free of your bondages, you will have the teacher in unpredictable ways and in unpredictable forms. If you do not want to break free of your bondage and limitations, no teacher for you, right?